Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today we continue our week looking at upgrading all 5 of the commander decks from Tarkir Dragonstorm. As I'm sure you saw from the thumbnail, today we'll be looking at Jeskai Striker. Like all modern pre-constructed commander decks, we have 2 legendary creatures that can lead the deck. Shiko and Narset Unified, and Elsha Threefold Master. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Shiko and Narset Unified are a 4-mana 4/4 legendary human spirit dragon with flying and vigilance. Whenever we cast our second spell each turn, we copy that spell if it targets a permanent or player, and we may choose new targets for the copy. If we don't copy a spell this way, we draw a card. Elsha Threefold Master is a 3-mana 1/1 legendary Djinn monk with trample and prowess. Whenever Elsha deals combat damage to a player, we create that many 1/1 white monk creature tokens with prowess. Okay, I think it's a good time to discuss the different types of Spellslinger decks and what we're wanting for each commander. Shiko and Narset Unified want us to cast big spells that we can copy, or, failing that, draw cards, which I'm perfectly happy to do. I'm all about drawing cards. Elsha has prowess though, and is an army in the can. We want to cast as many spells as possible each turn. In other words, a cantrip deck. Meanwhile, Shiko and Narset Unified will be a proper Spellslinger deck. We sit back, sculpt our hand, then win out of nowhere. This is gonna be fun. Now, for those who are new to my channel, we do things a little bit differently with our Commander Precon videos. Rather than simply cutting a few cards and adding some cards, I like to take the cards I've cut and build a new deck. In almost every pre-constructed commander deck, there is a primary strategy and a secondary strategy. So I will remove the cards that are centered around the secondary strategy, and then build a deck where that strategy is at the forefront. In this case, I will be cutting Elsha Threefold Master and cards that work well with him. But before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. One of my favorite products Ultimate Guard has is their Xenoskin Omnihive. Years ago, when my family and I would go play Standard together, we would bring all of our decks inside of Xenoskin Omnihives. We could fit everyone's decks, spare tokens and dice, and everyone's playmats into 2 of these massive boxes. Well, the new ones are here, and instead of 5 60-card decks or 4 commander decks, they can easily fit 8 commander decks or 10 60-card decks. This thing is massive, and I can't wait to finish filling it up with my decks. Find out if your local game store carries Ultimate Guard products, or click the link down below to order yourself one from Amazon. In order to determine what cards to cut, we should take a look at Jeskai Striker as it comes in the box. We want to compare that deck to our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Looking at Jeskai Striker, we see that the deck has 51 mana sources, split between 37 lands and 14 pieces of ramp, not too shabby, 20 pieces of card advantage, but a lot of those are cantrips, 11 pieces of interaction, 3 board wipes, no graveyard hate, and no sudden I win cards. Okay, let's take a look at what we're cutting and why. Obviously our new deck needs a new commander, so we're cutting Elsha Threefold Master. Next up, Tempest Technique goes better with Elsha than with Shiko and Narset Unified. Monastery Mentor is basically the duplicate of our commander, so we really want it. Caldera Pyrama goes better in a deck where we're casting a lot of spells per turn rather than just 2. Lier, Disciple of the Drowned, allows us to recast all of our cantrips. Veyron, Voice of Duality, works better with what Elsha is trying to do, and can help us close out games quickly. Third Path Iconoclast, Young Pyromancer, and Gutter Snipe are all cards that work better with a cantrip deck than with a proper Spellslinger deck. Also, all of our cantrips are getting cut. Namely, Expressive Iteration, Faithless Looting, Ancestral Vision, Consider, Frantic Search, Opt, Ponder, Preordain, and Think Twice. Archmage Emeritus is an amazing magic card, but works better in a deck where we're casting a bunch of cards every turn. Same thing with Stormkiln Artist. Finally, Shiny Impetus and Curse of Opulence act as a form of creature control, allowing us to force our opponents to turn annoying creatures at someone else, and clearing a path for our commander to beat them in the face. For those counting, yes, that was 22 cards. Crazy, I know. So what are we adding? First of all, I wanted to buff up our mana ramp package, starting with Thrawn Dynamo, Talisman of Conviction, Talisman of Creativity, Chromatic Lantern, Jace's Sanctum, and Gilded Lotus. Why do we need more mana? Our curve is high. Simple as that. Now, since we cut all of our cantrips, I wanted to add some more card advantage in the form of Mizzix Mastery and Windfall. I also added a fun board wipe in Distorting Wake. To add some graveyard hate, we've got Commit Memory. Now, our new plan revolves around casting big, scary spells. To make those spells even scarier, we've got Thousand Year Storm, Swarm Intelligence, Double Vision, and Reiterate. Now, what big spells will we be casting? How about Crackle with Power, Mass Manipulation, Jaya's Immolating Inferno, Blatant Thievery, and Comet Storm. Finally, to add some flair, we've got Soulfire Grandmaster, Zephi Thunder Conductor, and Dualcaster Mage. Now, we made a lot of changes, so let's take a look at how the deck list is holding up. 54 mana sources split between 37 lands and 17 pieces of ramp. Heavy, I know, but it's fine. 12 pieces of card advantage counting our commander. 12 pieces of interaction. 4 board wipes. 1 piece of graveyard hate in Commit Memory. 1 sudden I win card in Soulfire Grandmaster. No, I'm not joking. We have Soulfire Grandmaster on board and activate his ability. Then we cast Mana Geyser. Yes, I know this costs us 9 mana to get started. Why do you think we added all those mana rocks? So, when Mana Geyser resolves, we return it to our hand. We should now have enough mana to repeat this an infinite number of times. Now what do we do with all that mana? How about we cast a Crackle with Power to win the game? Or Mass Manipulation to steal every single creature and planeswalker on the battlefield? Or Jaya's Immolating Inferno to win the game? We can do whatever we want. But what are we doing with the 22 cards we cut from the deck? I'm so glad you asked, dear viewer. Oh, one more quick announcement before we get to the new deck. I'm currently streaming with my son over on Gaming with Danon as well as Twitch. It'll mostly be Final Fantasy XIV, but you're more than welcome to pop in and talk about Commander. Honestly, about half my streams are talking about manga, anime, or Commander. For lands, we've got Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Mystic Monastery, Sulphur Falls, Clifftop Retreat, Glacial Fortress, Volatile Fjord, Alpine Meadow, Glacial Floodplain, Molten Tributary, Sacred Peaks, Idyllic Beachfront, Shivan Reef, Battlefield Forge, Adarkar Wastes, Frostboil Snarl, Fury Calm Snarl, Port Town, Scavenger Grounds, Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, 3 Islands, 3 Mountains, and 3 Plains. Pretty straightforward. For Mana Ramp, we've got Stormkiln Artist, Shiny Impetus, Curse of Opulence, Goblin Electromancer, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Creativity, Talisman of Conviction, Talisman of Progress, Izzet Signet, Boros Signet, Azorius Signet, Mindstone, Felwar Stone, and Descent into Avernus. I know Descent into Avernus is a bit of a controversial choice, but it does close out games quickly, which is exactly what we're trying to do. Our card advantage package consists of Archmage Emeritus, Teferi's Ageless Insight, Narset Jeskai Waymaster, Jeskai Ascendancy, Whirlwind of Thought, Windfall, and New Way Forward. I know that's a lot, but it's okay. We've got a cantrip package in Ancestral Vision, Faithless Looting, Expressive Iteration, Consider, Frantic Search, Opt, Ponder, Preordain, Think Twice, Expedite, Crash Through, Leap, Shadow Rift, Fists of Flame, Crimson Wisps, Thought Scour, and Defiant Strike. Gotta trigger our prowess creatures as much as possible, after all. For interaction and spot removal, we've got Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, Boros Charm, Negate, Counterspell, Generous Gift, Arcane Denial, Snap, Chaos Warp, Abrade, and Narset's Reversal. Gotta keep our opponents in line somehow. Our board wipes consist of Filter Out and Aetherize. Looking forward to bouncing a bunch of dragons or squirrels with Aetherize. The core of our deck consists of Tempest Technique, Caldera Pyremaw, Monastery Mentor, Lear Disciple of the Drowned, Veyron Voice of Duality, Third Path Iconoclast, Young Pyromancer, Gutter Snipe, Fiery Inscription, Shark Typhoon, Metallurgic Summonings, Ride of the Dragoncaller, Kaikar Wind's Fury, and Talran Sky Summoner. Lots of ways to go wide. Supporting our plan, we've also got Arcane Bombardment and War Leader's Call. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 45 mana sources split between 30 lands and 15 pieces of ramp. Light, I know, but it's fine because we have 7 pieces of card advantage plus 17 cantrips. You can replace lands with cantrips at the rate of 2 cantrips per land, but you want your cantrips to do more than just replace lands. You want them to create creatures or trigger permanents somehow, like our deck does. 11 pieces of interaction, 2 board wipes, 1 piece of Graveyard Hate in Scavenger Grounds, no sudden I win cards, but lots of value. The problem with a deck like this is you need both instants and sorceries to trigger your permanents, but you also need the permanents in order to have some fun triggers. This kind of deck absolutely has a wrong half problem. Sometimes you'll see nothing but creatures. Other times, you see nothing but cantrips. But every once in a while, the deck comes together and things are simply beautiful. You just destroy everyone and everything in your path and giggle the entire time. Are you picking up Jeskai Striker? What are your plans with the deck? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to Editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alix, Borgi, Nazwin, Conga, Chris, Robert, William Pye, Kazaris, Booksuit, Patrick, Tiz, Art, Richard Sint, Boomy, Jackie, Finn, Zen, Asura, Justin, Christian, and Golden Walker. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.